a game like that against a poor Albania team. If you've not scored a goal, you've not had a shot on target, you've not tested a goalkeeper, you would be disappointed because you're there to affect games. And you've got a new manager, you want to make a good impression, and Rashford and Foden certainly didn't do that tonight.
It was very noticeable because we could see Phil Foden going down the right-hand side. He's left-footed, that every single time he cut in field on his left foot, which when England's attack sort of concertinaed, skew-if to the left, if you know what I mean. He never once tried to really take the full back on the outside.
I think he might be lacking in confidence, and he's definitely off it. His club form is not great, but we know he's got that quality. But even tonight when he was getting it, I wasn't sitting here going, usually when Foden's at his best, you're sitting there going, something's going to happen. Even when he cuts in, he'll pick a pass out, get a shot away. He'd done none of that tonight. And every time he gets the ball now, I'm looking at him going, I don't expect anything from Foden at the moment.
Now, he might want to play number 10, but the reality is that Jude Bellingham's going to play number 10.
Oh, yeah, man,
he's going to do
I know, but you can't go down that road again where he wants to. But
what I mean is, if he wants to get in the team, he might have to play.
Yeah, but wherever he's playing, you affect the game. You can affect the game in different ways, and he didn't do that tonight.
We'll get back to Keano in just a quick second, but remember, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. And don't forget to click the notification button so that you know when the next Big D video hits. And as ever, if something is on your mind, if you need to say something and express something, if something's bubbling up inside of you, you know what to do. Please express those thoughts in the comments. The Big D reads all of the comments, and he's always keen to read what is on your mind. Anyway, in this little clip, Roy Keane is going to be reacting to England. I nearly said Manchester United there, because he's always reacting to United, but in this video he's reacting to England's 2-0 victory over Albania. We're also going to be hearing from Thomas Tuchel and Declan Rice and Skelly, and stick around for after the clip because the Big D is going to be giving his thoughts on tonight's game. Here we go.
A winning start. What's your verdict on the performance?
We can do better. We have to do better. I think we started quite well. I think we had 7-8 minutes, 100% ball possession with a lot of passes, and then a high energy. But opponent is hard to wear down because they defended in a deep block, and all the matches that we saw, also in the Euros, they managed to not concede chances, not concede goals. Second half, I felt like we were too slow, and we were not, and in general, maybe not enough runs off the ball to get more often behind the line.
Miles Lewis-Skelly, you gave him his debut. Where do you place that for an 18-year-old?
Yeah, it's amazing player, amazing personality. He came into camp and showed straight away that it's so normal to fall in love with him. Like he's a top player, amazing character, and well deserved.
You've worked with some star players up close. Jude Bellingham, what are your impressions?
Yeah, there's no doubt that he's a key player for us. He had a fantastic pass to assist the first goal, and of course we expect special things from Jude. He's ready to take this responsibility. And we have to create environment and the structure where we can see more of it.
What about in the wide positions, Rashford and Foden this evening?
Yeah, we hope for more impact on these positions than we tried with Anthony and Jared Bowen. I hope for a little bit more impact, for more dribblings, less passes, more dribblings, and more aggressive runs towards the box. I think this was in general missing. I think all the chances came from the little runs, from little diagonal runs behind the line. Jude had some good runs in the first half, in the first half of the first half. Miles scored from it. Kyle Walker had one where we had then the big chance to score the second one. This was a bit missing. They were not as decisive as they can be.
I think we're going to enjoy his honesty, aren't we?
Yeah.
Particularly about the wide players there, Foden and Rashford.
What it sounded to me like he says he wants people taking people on, too many side passes coming back, and we saw that a lot with Field. We saw Marcus kind of running down into blind alleys a little bit, but I think that if anything, them two, I thought they're both fortunate to call in with the way it's going for them at the moment. Obviously, Marcus getting a little bit of a renaissance at Villa, but you know, with the way they play today, it's probably something you'd look at and say, yeah, if I'm on the outside of that as an English player from the wing point of view, I'll be thinking, I've got to step my game up, I might get a shout here.
Yeah, if you're one of them attacking players and you've come off the pitch and you've dominated a game like that against a poor Albanian team, if you've not scored a goal, you've not had a shot on target, you've not tested a goalkeeper, you would be disappointed because you're there to affect games. You've got a new manager, you want to make a good impression, and Rashford and Foden certainly didn't do that tonight.
It was very noticeable because we could see Phil Foden going down the right-hand side. He's left-footed, that every single time he cut in field on his left foot, which when England's attack sort of concertinaed, skew-if to the left, if you know what I mean. He never once tried to really take the full back on the outside.
I think he might be lacking in confidence, and he's definitely off it. His club form is not great, but we know he's got that quality. But even tonight when he was getting it, I wasn't sitting there going, usually when Foden's at his best, you're sitting there going, something's going to happen. Even when he cuts in, he'll pick a pass out, get a shot away. He'd done none of that tonight. And every time he gets the ball now, I'm looking at him going, I don't expect anything from Foden at the moment.
Now, he might want to play number 10, but the reality is that Jude Bellingham's going to play number 10.
Oh, yeah, man,
he's going to do
I know,
so
but you can't go down that road again where he wants to. But
what I mean is, if he wants to get in the team, he might have to play.
Yeah, but whatever he's playing, you affect the game. You can affect the game in different ways, and he didn't do that tonight.
Yeah. That's the point. Is that we know that Phil Foden can come inside and he can be very creative with what he's doing. He's probably got license to do that. But like the manager's saying today, people didn't go past anyone. There wasn't enough progressive passing and running with the ball.
Listen, Foden won't have that problem coming up about where he wants to play because he won't be playing.
As debuts go, sum that up.
I'm lost for words, really. I'm just so grateful for the manager to put trust in me and just to show the teammates they played with me so much trust today, and I'm so happy. You know, I'm lost for words.
Which was better for that goal, the pass or the finish?
Definitely the pass. You know, I just had to put it in the back of the net, but yeah, great pass from Jude.
What about his debut? You know this guy, Declan, of course. But did you have any fear tonight for him when you heard he was going to start?
Not at all. I think that's one word you can use for him. He's fearless. He does everything right off the pitch. He prepares himself. He's only 18. I tried to look after him as best I can. But I knew he was going to play like that tonight because of the confidence he has in himself and the way he's trained all week and what I've seen at the club and how he is around the club. His mum, his dad, everyone, his brothers should be so proud of him because his rise this year has been unreal and he's kept his feet on the ground. So this is only the start. It's only the start for him. So he's got to keep going.
There you go, only the start. Did you feel at home?
Yeah, definitely. The fans made me feel at home. So yeah, thank you to them.
You know, you were the youngest scorer for England, apart from two players, Rooney and Owen.
Well, that's incredible. That's incredible. Yeah, I got nothing to say really. Just yeah, that's amazing.
And sum it up, Declan, just as an overall performance, what the manager wanted, what to be pleased with, and maybe what you got to work on.
Yeah, just obviously it's only been 4 days training together. You know, we need to keep working, need to keep getting used to what he wants from us. Obviously, Albania sat in a low block. It's hard to break down. You've got to keep going. But to win in the boss's first game was a real positive, and to get us to a good start in the group was what we wanted. So, look, things to improve on. But an all-round positive night, and this guy here.
Get the shirt signed and framed.
Yeah, I have to.
Don't eBay it.
Well done.
Great to see his excitement and his joy scoring on his England debut. Just makes me think there's somebody out there watching that, an Englishman, professional footballer, who must be thinking, World Cup's 15, 16 months away. He's come from nowhere, if you know what I mean, Lewis-Skelly, to get in the team. There is still time, and there are always those sorts of players.
Oh, there will be, yeah. We see it all the time, and that's why you got to believe in yourself. And when you get opportunities, we always talk about players getting opportunity. You got to take it. And he certainly took it tonight. He's took it with Arsenal in the few games he played, 9, 10 games. And I thought this goal was fantastic. Bellingham getting on it, waiting, biding his time and waiting for that run. And the little bit of space that was available. Brilliant pass, brilliant run, lovely finish, excellent goal.
It's a super goal. It's something that obviously, again, for Arsenal, he can get himself in those positions. Obviously, when he was younger, playing in the academy, he played in that position. He got himself in the box, and what he's showing is his capability of being able to play from a left-back, inverted, in that position as a winger. He can go in and still score. He knows when to make that run. I was pleased for him, and Declan's right as well. He knew that from a confidence point of view, and Mikel and obviously this manager now, they've chosen him because they know that he's got the capability to deal with this.
You've got to be fearless. You've got to be, dare I say, a little bit arrogant in your, which means belief in your own ability, not the way you conduct yourself off the pitch. That's the only way when you are that young, isn't it, that you're going to be able to withstand what goes on out there.
And then what happens is you go out there, and like he said when he's playing, he said obviously the fans made it very, very welcoming for him. But the players, when you're playing with better players, it's even better. As long as you're doing everything right, you get it, you pass it at pace, because the players will be able to control it and move it. And you can see that he enjoyed the night.
And he's playing at the highest level. He's playing the Premiership week in, week out. And they talk about step up in international football. That wouldn't have been tonight. That was just getting used to combinations with a new centre-half next to him, the players in front of him. We still have to cope with it. But as we know, and I don't want to sound like a grumpy old man, but the bigger tests are yet to come for him in terms of his international career.
In terms of being welcomed by his teammates, they would spot very quickly whether he had that level of confidence, ability, fearlessness or not. And you know that on the training ground, wouldn't you?
And also the important thing for the manager this week, he knows he's a good player, but it's nice to get a close look at him in training and see him around the hotel, how he interacts with the players, the staff, and that's what he gave the manager the confidence to say, I'm putting you straight in. And he certainly did.
There's something about England that just gets on the Big D's nerves. It just grinds his gears a little bit. England are class. On paper, they've got so much world-class talent. Jude Bellingham is superb. He's absolutely fantastic. People talk about Mo Salah and De Bruyne and all of that, but Jude Bellingham is the man. And it's a shame he doesn't play in the Premier League because, he would suit playing for the Premier League team so much. He's just brilliant. He's the modern day. He's like an old school box to box midfielder. You know, there hasn't been many of those midfielders around for a long time, but he's come along and he's just an absolute class act. He's a fighter. He just seems to be good at everything. You know, he's like Roy Keane and Gerrard and Vieira and those guys. He's obviously a little bit more attacking than Roy Keane and Vieira was, but he's still class in defence. He's very much an all-rounder. Reminds me a little bit of Brian Robson to a degree. You know, so, I mean, it just looked like he was running that game there. And even Marcus Rashford seemed to be putting the effort in, which he wasn't doing at United. And it's a shame, really, when I saw him put the effort in, because that's what he should have been doing at United, really. But I'm not going to go into that. But even though he was putting the effort in, I don't know, I felt as though he should have been doing better. And so, yeah, anyway, going back to my initial point, with England, they should be battering teams like Albania 5-0. I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, we've got a team there that on paper could win the Champions League, really, because they didn't have any teeth in attack. Not really. Dan Burn looks a player, by the way. What a big lad he is. And that header that hit the crossbar, I mean, wow. But yeah, we should be battering these teams. We've got Phil Foden, a Champions League winner. We've got Jude Bellingham, a Champions League winner. Harry Kane is the greatest goal scorer of his generation, from England anyway, and one of the best strikers in the world. And Marcus Rashford's won loads, so I mean he should be doing a lot better as well. But I don't know, like when England come up against these sort of mid-level international sides, they just kind of seem to struggle a little bit, really. But they should be winning like 3-4, 5-0. The 2-0 should be coming up against like teams like Croatia and stuff like that, you know, teams like that. But I don't know what it is with England. I really don't know. Yeah, Phil Foden should be doing better, but you know, as Roy Keane alludes to in that clip there, you know, he hasn't been great for Man City as well. It just seems he's probably a little bit burnt out. Man City are coming across as what Liverpool were in you know, towards the end of Jurgen Klopp's tenure. You know, they've just dominated for so long, and they've been playing on the edge for so long that it was just a matter of time before they just nosedived and just got burnt out. So I don't know, maybe a fresh change for Phil Foden at club level. Anyway, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but at club level might just reinvigorate him a little bit. You know, but I don't know. It's a weird one because, like, maybe coming from a psychological perspective, like, you kind of need to G yourself up for playing for England. So there's that component, but at the same time, you're only playing Albania. So there's like a little bit of a conflict there, conflict of trying too hard, of being up for it, playing for England, but also being a little bit complacent because you're playing against Albania, who are crap. So you almost have to try a little bit too hard to compensate for, the lack of motivation because you're playing against Albania. But then again, there's that old trope of, well, you should always be up for playing for England and all of that. So it's just a weird one. It's a weird game. It's a weird game. I don't know, unless it's a World Cup qualifier or a Euros qualifier or a World Cup game, I just find like a lot of international football just pointless. You know, just pointless. I remember back in the day when a World Cup qualifier against Italy was a big game for England, like leading up to the 98 World Cup, you know, playing Italy at Wembley. That was a big match. Playing anyone for England back then, it was just a big match. But now, they just seem like overblown friendlies more than anything. And yeah, I think, I know they've got a new manager and stuff like that, but yeah, a lot of work still needs to be done for England to, you know, do anything really at a tournament. But they've got the players. They do have the players to win a World Cup or to win a Euros. But the question is, have they got the manager? But again, I don't know. I feel as though I'm having the same conversations about England generation after generation after generation. I'm saying that as if I'm 90 years old. But the big D isn't. I know he does look young for his age, but he's certainly not 90. But it's like England have either never had that one player that's carried them, but then when they've had the players, they've never had the manager. And then when they've had the players and the manager, the players that they do have, someone's got an injury or, you know, they're a bit burnt out from the season. There's always an excuse. There's always an excuse. And my hope for England is that they give it their all in whatever it is they're doing. And if they get beat, they get beat, but with no excuses. There's only been 2 instances since the Big D's been watching England where he feels as though England have played a tournament, they've played it to the best of their ability, and there's been no excuses. That was Euro 96, where we were just unlucky. It was just one of those things. Euro 96 and the 2018 World Cup. We got further than what we should have done when we got to the semi-final in 2018 even. Because no one expected anything from us. Gareth Southgate was the perfect manager for that team because they were underdogs, and he set the team up to be defensive and beat teams on the counter-attack, and he made the most of the players that he had at the time. And Terry Venables back then, you know, he picked the best team he could, and he created an astute system that got the best players out, that got the best performances out, the best players that he could. And that was fair enough. That was fair enough. There's no lingering what-ifs with those 2 tournaments. But every other tournament, there's always been a what-if. What if Rooney didn't do his metatarsal? What if Rooney was fit? What if Beckham didn't do his metatarsal? What if Beckham didn't get sent off? What if Rooney didn't get sent off? What if we had a more astute manager and all of this kind of stuff? But I don't know. England, it's always just a bit of a wet rag watching England, you know. But you know, it's Tuchel's first game in charge, so you know, we've got to give him a go. You know, he needs to grease his wheels a little bit, so to speak. So hopefully he can build on this. It's a solid result, I suppose. England weren't great, but they grounded out a win. So fair enough. Big D's just cynical when it comes to England, to be fair. But what do you guys think? What did you think of England's performance tonight? What do you think of Jude Bellingham? How good is he? And what does Tuchel need to do to get the best out of England? Thoughts in the comments, and the Big D will see you in the next one.